Most people don't fail to build wealth because they're careless. They fail while doing everything right. They get the degree, they land the job, they earn more every year, and somehow nothing really changes. The paycheck grows, the lifestyle grows faster, and wealth, the thing they thought would come naturally, never shows up. That's not bad luck, it's a system, and once you see how it works, it becomes very hard to unsee. Right now, there are millions of people earning what would have been considered rich just 20 years ago, yet most of them feel stuck. Not poor, but not free either, because income and wealth are not the same thing. Income is a flow, wealth is a stock. One comes in, the other stays. And most people are trained, very subtly, to optimize for the first, while quietly losing the second. Think about how a typical financial life unfolds. You start earning. At first, it feels like progress. Every raise feels like momentum. Every upgrade feels deserved. A better apartment, a car, maybe a bigger house. Each step looks like success from the outside. But underneath, something else is happening. Your expenses aren't just increasing, they're locking in. Rent becomes a mortgage. Subscriptions multiply. Lifestyle becomes identity. And now, your income isn't building wealth. It's maintaining a system. A system that needs you to keep earning at the same level, or higher, just to stay in place. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. Most people think wealth comes from saving what's left. But in reality, there is rarely anything left, because the system is designed to absorb it, not through force, through structure. Take housing. For most people, it's the biggest financial decision they'll ever make, and it's usually framed as a milestone. You bought a house, you're building wealth. But the math is more complicated. You take a 20-year or 30-year loan. You commit a large portion of your income every month. And over time, you pay not just for the house, but for the cost of money itself. Interest, which in many cases can equal or even exceed the price of the property. So while you feel like you're building an asset, you're also committing decades of future income to a financial structure you don't control. Now layer in inflation. Every year, money quietly loses value. Not dramatically, just enough. 2%, 4%, sometimes more. It doesn't feel like much, until you realize your savings are constantly being diluted, while assets like real estate and equities tend to rise with or ahead of inflation. So if your money sits still, it shrinks. If your expenses rise, they outpace you. And if your assets aren't growing fast enough, you fall behind without ever noticing. This is where most people get trapped. They think they're progressing because their income is rising, but their net position, the gap between what they own and what they owe, is barely moving. Or worse, it's quietly widening. And then there's time, the one variable no one can negotiate with. When you rely primarily on income, you're trading time for money, which means your ability to earn is tied to your ability to work. And that creates a ceiling, not immediately, but eventually. Because income can grow, but time does not. Meanwhile, real wealth behaves differently. It's not built from effort alone. It's built from leverage. Not just financial leverage, but structural leverage. Owning things that grow, assets that generate income, systems that work without your direct involvement. That's where the gap begins to form, between people who earn and people who own. Here's the irony. The same system that makes it hard to build wealth makes it easier for those who already have it. Access to better investments, cheaper capital, more options. Because once you own assets, you can borrow against them. You can reinvest without starting from zero. You're no longer just participating in the system, you're using it. But most people never reach that point. Not because they're incapable, but because they're busy sustaining the structure around them. A structure that rewards consistency, but not necessarily accumulation. And this is where the story most people are told starts to break. Work hard, earn more, Save responsibly. It sounds logical, but it ignores something fundamental. Wealth is not built in isolation. It's built in relation to the system you're operating in. And if that system is designed to extract just enough from your income, then effort alone won't change the outcome. Look at the pattern. Higher income leads to higher obligations. Higher obligations reduce flexibility. Reduced flexibility limits opportunity. And limited opportunity slows wealth creation. It's a loop, a very stable one. So the question isn't just how much do you earn, it's what is your income actually doing? Is it building something that lasts, or is it feeding something that resets every month? Because at the end of the day, real wealth is not about how hard you work.